Most boats do not die from hard use. They die from how they were built. A boat sitting in a saltwater slip right now with 200 hours on the engines and a clean gel coat can already have a transom absorbing water, a stringer system beginning to delaminate, and hardware quietly introducing galvanic corrosion into the hull from the inside out. Nobody disclosed that at the point of sale. Nobody put it on the spec sheet. Here is the reality of the saltwater environment. It is one of the most corrosive conditions any engineered structure can face. It finds every path water is allowed to travel, and it destroys every material that was not specifically designed to resist it. Organic core materials absorb moisture, swell, and rot. Dissimilar metals in contact corrode electrochemically in the presence of salt brine. Poorly executed joints and penetrations become water entry points that work silently for years before you ever feel the consequences. The difference between a boat that is still fully structural at 30 years and one that is headed for the scrapyard at 12 is not luck, not maintenance alone, and not price. It is a set of construction decisions made before the hull was ever removed from the mold. There are exactly 7 platforms that get those decisions right and have the documented real-world service history to back it up. Here is what they are, what specifically makes them survive, and what the boats that do not survive have in common. Before the list, you need to understand the 3 mechanisms that end most saltwater boats years before their time. Because without understanding the failure, you cannot recognize the fix. The first is wood core rot. The majority of production fiberglass boats built before the 2010s used marine plywood or exterior-grade plywood in their transoms, stringers, and deck cores. Fiberglass laminate protects that wood only as long as every hardware penetration is perfectly sealed and every surface remains intact. The moment a screw hole is drilled without proper epoxy coating or a gel coat crack goes unaddressed, water enters the wood. In a freshwater environment, fungal growth drives the rot. In a saltwater slip, the saltwater actually slows rot slightly, but rainwater and condensation provide the freshwater that accelerates it. The result is a stringer or transom that looks structurally sound from the outside while being completely compromised inside. Marine surveyors describe this as the most commonly underestimated failure mode in used boat inspections. The second is galvanic corrosion. Saltwater is an electrolyte. When 2 metals that sit at different positions on the galvanic scale are in direct contact and immersed in an electrolyte, the less noble metal gives up electrons and corrodes at an accelerated rate. On a boat, this means aluminum components corroding where they contact stainless steel hardware, bronze fittings pitting when not properly isolated, and structural mounting points failing from the inside before any visible surface deterioration appears. The boats that survive this environment isolate their dissimilar metals, use the correct alloy for each application, and maintain their zinc anodes. Most production boats are not built with this level of attention to the details a buyer cannot see on a dealer lot. The third is what you could call installation failure. Fishbox drain lines that terminate inside the bilge instead of running overboard. Wiring without sealed connections that corrode and arc. Console mounting hardware that relies on a handful of fasteners driven into unsupported substrates. These are not structural failures from the start. They are slow, compounding problems that introduce chronic water into spaces that were never designed to manage it, accelerating every other failure mode simultaneously. The 7 boats on this list were engineered to address all 3. Here is how. Grady White has won every J.D. Power Marine study ever conducted and every consecutive National Marine Manufacturers Association Customer Satisfaction Index award since that program launched in 2003. Those are independently verified third-party results. No other saltwater production manufacturer has matched that record. The construction behind it is documented precisely. According to direct confirmation from Grady White factory archives, the brand completed its transition to all composite transoms in the 2015 model year and all composite stringers in the 2016 model year. No wood anywhere in the structural hull. The stringer system is precision patterned fiberglass, bonded into the hull while still in the mold and fully encapsulated. Closed cell polyurethane foam is pumped into every below deck void throughout the entire hull, not just in areas where Coast Guard regulations require it. All deck hardware is 3/16 stainless steel, through bolted at every penetration point. Fishbox drains run overboard. The hull to deck joint is a shoebox fit overlap, secured with 3/16 stainless steel and marine adhesive, then capped with a stainless rub rail. Independent marine surveyors running moisture meters across Canyon 271 hulls that have spent years in saltwater slips have documented readings consistently below 8%, which is the dry threshold. That is the construction benchmark that every other boat in this segment is compared against. Boston Whaler's Unibond construction has been in continuous production since the brand's first hull was built in 1958. The process is documented in detail, and it is genuinely unlike anything else in production boating. The hull and inner liner are both laid up in fiberglass separately and simultaneously. While both are still curing in their respective molds, the molds are locked together. Liquid 2-part polyurethane is then injected into the cavity between them. The foam expands under pressure, fills every void in the cavity, chemically bonds both fiberglass skins together, and cures into a single unified structure. The result carries up to 2.5 times the flotation required by Coast Guard standards, according to Boston Whaler's published construction documentation. There is no internal void space. There is no core material that can absorb water and delaminate. The structural system distributes impact loads across the entire foam and fiberglass matrix rather than concentrating stress at individual joint points. That is why Boston Whaler hulls from decades ago are still surveying clean. The Outrage 330 applies this construction at offshore scale with 200 gallons of fuel capacity and 3/16 stainless steel hardware throughout. The hull does not change. The construction does not change. That is the entire point. Consider subscribing for more of the best boating content on YouTube. Regulator Marine has been building center consoles in Edenton, North Carolina since 1988. The stringer system on every regulator is a single piece of molded fiberglass, handcrafted without any wood, bonded to the hull with high-strength adhesive, and then foam injected so that the stringer and hull cure into one solid unit. This process has been consistent since the brand's founding and is confirmed on Regulator's own published construction documentation. The hull design by naval architect Lou Codiga features 24 degrees of transom dedries, confirmed across multiple independent test reviews including Saltwater Sportsman's 2025 Boat Buyer's Guide. That dedries geometry keeps the bow cutting into offshore chop rather than slamming across it, and it reduces repetitive structural stress on every joint in the hull over a service life of decades. The Regulator 31 with twin 450 horsepower Yamaha outboards tops out around 65 miles per hour, confirmed in the same 2025 Buyer's Guide review. The published dry weight with engines is over 11,000 pounds. That weight is intentional. It creates the low center of gravity that keeps this hull composed at 20 knots in conditions that have other boats slowing to a crawl. Contender Boats has been building center consoles in Homestead, Florida since 1984, under continuous ownership by the same founding family. Every hull is hand-laminated using biaxial and triaxial fiberglass cloth with vinyl ester resin throughout the entire structure. Vinyl ester resin is confirmed by independent marine construction engineering sources to provide significantly higher resistance to osmotic blistering than standard polyester resin because its molecular structure resists water absorption at the resin to glass interface. The stringer system is a fiberglass composite assembly with no wood. The hull bottom is solid fiberglass with no core material below the waterline. The construction has been independently reviewed by marine surveyors, including a documented review of the Contender 25 noting the hull as solid glass with vinyl ester resin and describing the stringer system as oversized relative to what the structure requires. The Contender 32ST uses a stepped hull design that reduces wetted surface area at speed, lowering drag and improving efficiency at offshore cruise. Sport Fishing magazine has documented that the 32 platform has been used to land more offshore world records than any other boat in its size class. That is a direct result of where the boat is physically capable of operating. Yellowfin builds in Bradenton, Florida, and every hull uses 100% vinyl ester resin. That is confirmed by Sport Fishing magazine's review of the Yellowfin 42 and independently verified across multiple construction sources. The hull lamination process uses vacuum bagging with core cell composite coring throughout. Vacuum bagging pulls resin through the fiberglass laminate under negative pressure, which eliminates air voids and inconsistent resin to glass ratios that manual hand lamination can produce when quality control varies between workers. Baltec core material is used in the running surfaces. Solid fiberglass surrounds all through hull fittings to prevent core saturation at penetration points. The stringer system is a box design using 2 layers of woven roving with injected foam, bonded to the hull and liner, and then fully glassed and tabbed throughout. The hull-to-deck joint is through bolted with 1/4-20 fasteners every 6 inches. The 34 Offshore carries a 5-year transferable limited warranty on the all-composite hull. There is no documented organic core material, and no reported structural failures attributable to water intrusion in independent owner records. Everglades Boats was founded in Edgewater, Florida by Bob Doherty, who invented and patented the construction process that defines every Everglades hull ever built. That process is called RAMCAP, which stands for Rapid Molded Core Assembly Process. It won the National Marine Manufacturers Association Innovation Award in 1999, and the construction methodology is confirmed in detail across Everglades factory documentation, manufacturing engineering interviews, and independent industry sources. Rather than injecting foam after the hull is built, Everglades pre-molds high-density closed-cell structural foam blocks at 3 times the density of standard spray foam flotation. Those precision-molded foam blocks are fitted exactly into the hull cavity, then the liner is installed with structural adhesives, and the entire assembly is cured into a single rigid structure. There is no separate stringer system. There is no void space. There is no wood anywhere in the construction. The hull laminate is premium gel coat over vinyl ester barrier coat over knitted biaxial fiberglass. The transom is a high-density composite. Upholstery backing is high-density plastic with no wood behind any interior surface. The result is a hull that is genuinely unsinkable, even when completely flooded. Everglades backs this with a lifetime transferable hull warranty and a 3-year component warranty. That warranty structure is only possible when the manufacturer has no concern about what a surveyor will find inside the hull decades from now. The same construction standard that defines the 31 applies to every regulator in the lineup, including the 26XO. It brings offshore class hull engineering into a size category accessible to a broader range of buyers. 1 solid piece fiberglass stringer, no wood, bonded in the hull while still in the mold, foam injected, and cured as a structure with the hull and liner. The Lou Codega 24-degree deep V hull geometry is confirmed across all models. 316 stainless steel through bolted hardware is used at every penetration. The 26XO is built on Regulator's crossover platform, designed to run shallow inshore water and open offshore water in the same day. What makes it relevant to this list is not the layout versatility. It is the fact that the construction methodology that has kept 30-year-old regulators surveying clean is in this hull at the 26-foot level. A Regulator 26XO that receives normal maintenance has no identified failure mechanism. There is no wood to rot, no foam-injected void to collapse, and no mechanical transom joint to work open. The hull structure ages because the hours accumulate. It does not structurally degrade because salt water found its path in. The construction credentials of the brand answer the question of how the boat was built. The condition of a specific used hull answers the question of what has happened to it since. Those are two separate questions, and both require an answer before any money changes hands. Run a moisture meter across the entire hull bottom before anything else. Readings above 12% moisture content in a fiberglass laminate are elevated and require investigation. Readings above 15% indicate active intrusion. Pull the bilge panel. Look at where the drain lines from every fish box and compartment actually terminate. If they go into the bilge instead of overboard, that is a chronic water introduction point that has been running since the day the boat was built. Check every aluminum component that contacts stainless steel hardware for powder coat bubbling at the joint. Bubbling means active galvanic corrosion is already working underneath the surface. Ask how the boat was stored. Dry storage on a lift between uses ages a hull at a fraction of the rate of a boat left in a saltwater slip. That single variable changes the expected condition of every component on the boat. Get compression tests on every engine, regardless of what the seller says about ours. Budget for impeller replacement, regardless of what the service record shows. Factor every deferred maintenance cost into your offer before you write a number. Saltwater does not negotiate. It does not respect the asking price, the hours on the meter, or how clean the gel coat looks. The only question that matters when you are standing on a dock looking at a boat is whether the hull in front of you was built to resist what saltwater does over decades. The 7 platforms on this list were engineered to do exactly that. Every other boat is a variable. Subscribe. Next, I am covering the specific construction failures that are buried inside the most popular used boats flooding the coastal market right now, what they cost buyers who did not know what they were looking at, and how to identify every one of them before you ever make an offer.